Hello and welcome back to the Denver Radio Club Learning Net for July 9th, 2025. It's a great place to learn about ham radio and STEM topics in general, and thankfully have plenty of combined experience and expertise. This is Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie K1 DBC. My name is Daron, and I'm this evening's net control. Tonight we'll be taking your check-ins, comments, questions, updates, and more. We meet every Wednesday except the third Wednesday of the month at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time on 145.490 and 448.625. Both have a negative offset. You can contact us via Elmer at w0tx.org and most social media at Denver Radio Club. We also stream and archive our nets on youtube.com/Denver Radio Club. So if you'd like to see behind the scenes of the net or visual context, while you're unable to make our repeaters, that's an additional way to participate in the net. This net can be broken at any time for emergency or priority traffic by using the word break. Is there any emergency or priority traffic at this time? All check-ins to the net will be taken in alphabetical groups based on the first letter of the suffix of the operator's call sign. The suffix is the first letter after the number in the call sign. If you can, at least for your call sign, please try to use ITU phonetics and indicate if you have any traffic or questions as you check in. You can follow along with check-ins if you'd like, w0tx.org/check-in. With that, if your suffix begins with the letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, please check in now.
Kilo 0 Lima Papa Romeo Lanier in Inglewood.
Delta 0 Charlie Golf Fox, Kenny, and Thornton. No traffic.
WD0 CIB, WD0 CIB, Charles and Denver, no traffic.
All right, this is net control. We'll hold up there for just a moment. Net Control would like to welcome and acknowledge the following check-ins: K0LPR Lanier, KD0CGF Kenny, and WD0CIV Charles. Thank you all so much for checking in. Once more, if your call suffix begins with the letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, please check in now. Okay, we'll go ahead and open up to the whole alphabet. We're taking all call signs, all call suffixes, A through Z, Alpha through Zulu. Let us know your call sign, your name, and if you have any traffic or questions, please call now.
0TX repeater.
Kilo Echo 0 Sierra Uniform Mike, Jonathan Lakewood with traffic.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. I'd like to welcome and acknowledge the following check-in. KE0 SUM Jonathan with traffic. We'll get back to you here in just a few minutes. One more time, we're taking all call signs, all call suffixes, A through Z, Alpha through Zulu. If you would like to check in just for the count, or if you have any traffic or questions, let us know your call sign, your name. And again, if you have any traffic or questions, please call now.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Foxtrot Papa India, Ron in Lakewood.
Kilo Mike 6, November Alpha Delta, Gary in Castle Rock, just checking in for the count.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. I'd like to welcome, acknowledge the following check-ins: KF0 FPI Ron and KM6 NAD. Gary, thank you so much for checking in. Glad to hear everyone who's been able to check in so far. Once more, we're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. This is the Denver Radio Club Learning Net. Great place to learn about ham radio and STEM topics. Lasts about an hour long. So if you have any further check-ins at the moment, we're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. Please call now. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. I certainly have a few articles that I can bring up, some recent news in ham radio and via ARL and whatnot. But with that, we'll throw it over to Jonathan, KE0 SUM. The net is yours.
Thanks, Jerome. Well, we talked extensively last week about the Pico balloon flight at Field Day, but I realized I didn't ask two questions I hope you could answer. It was what band it was transmitted on and what power level it was on.
No problem. I thought we covered at least one of those. With 20 meter band, I can get the exact frequency that is used for Whisper, WSPR, 20 meter band. So it was 14.0956 kilohertz, megahertz. Power-wise, with all of the solar cells that were on there, as small as they were generating anywhere between 3.5 volts to about 4.5 volts. So those small solar cells we were showing last week, that's what those were generating.
So what's volts translate into watts, which I'm more familiar with, and if you're using Whisper, you wouldn't need a lot of power, so that's understandable. But you said 20 meters, right?
Yeah, in terms of wattage, I'm not sure. I know that there was a signal strength when we were reading it in the radio, tracking it in the day of, and it was like a positive 15 or 20 dB. So it was a pretty strong signal, all things considered. And yeah, I did say 20 meters, 20 meters.
Okay, well, that's great. So let me think. Almost lost my train of thought already. So yeah, you were doing 20 meters and Whisper, and let me think. I guess I'll come back with it if you need KE0 unless you went back to that. Oh, I'm sorry, Drone. I remember it now. So is this all controlled by a Pi?
Raspberry Pi Pico, I believe. I believe that's what it was. And then there's a little hat on it for the radio transmission itself. I'm struggling. It's probably just on this website, TrekKito, TAQUITO.github.io. Yeah, Raspberry Pi plus a radio transmitter on top of it.
So this transmit in CW or probably not FT8, that takes a lot of power. Is it just a CW signal it puts out all the time?
That I am not sure of. If you go to website SIG ID Wiki, as in signal identification, and you can look up Whisper on there, utilizes 2-minute long transmission times, provides call sign, location, power, 4 FSK modulation, about 6 kilohertz of bandwidth. So that is the basic information that I have on that.
Okay, Drone, thanks for taking my questions. I appreciate it. Okay.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, I was just listening to the signal. It's just a tone, essentially. Yeah, pretty cool stuff there. So, yeah, anybody else on that? You can track where it went, w0tx.org/track, TRACK. Didn't make it too far. If someone is out eastern Colorado, towards Lyman area, if you're interested in finding a balloon, there may be a Mylar balloon with a Raspberry Pi, and we can get it back up if anybody's out there. With that, anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins, anything else? Please call now.
No, with that, I'll add another question, Jerome. So, what would you estimate the cost of this relatively inexpensive Mylar balloon and all the equipment cost, and was it retrieved?
Cost-wise, I'm not sure. Pretty cheap, though. Raspberry Pi Pico, you can get for $4, I'm looking at here. The solar panels, I think they got several hundred for pretty cheaply, at least less than $1 per panel. The balloon itself, I'm not too sure of the cost. Not sure of the cost of the fuel. But we've launched it twice, last year and this year, and we have not recovered it either time. So I'm guessing it's cheap enough for us to kind of let be, unfortunately. So if anybody's interested, there's always options of recovering those, but we have not.
Well, I'm sure it has the club's name, call sign, and contact information on it, like any good ham radio operator would do if you're setting a balloon up in the air. So maybe somebody out on the plains will find it for you.
Yeah, gotcha. Sounds good. Yeah, I was thinking of maybe taking a road trip at some point to maybe look for it. It's not too far. But, yeah, very cool stuff. So, yeah, anyone else on that or anything else? It's 7:44. We have another 45 or so minutes. Comments, questions, check-ins, anything else? Please call now.
Comments?
Yeah, go ahead with the comment.
This is Kilo Mike 6 November Alpha Delta, Gary in Castle Rock. And I'm just thinking outside the box, but for the next balloon excursion, couldn't you simply also add on to that with a couple of things of duct tape or something, some adhesive so it wouldn't be going anywhere, and put one of the little Apple AirTags on it, and that way you can actually have full monitoring right from your cell phone. Back to net control.
Great comment there. I really do appreciate that, NAD. Yeah, that would be good for future use, to be able to track it after the fact if it goes down. That would be nice to have. And I guess to Jonathan's point, we have no labels on it. I don't think anything is labeled. I could be completely wrong about that, but I'm not sure that it's labeled, unfortunately, either. So if somebody were to stumble upon it, they'd have no idea who to return it to, I don't think. But yeah, Apple AirTag for next year, Bluetooth tracking would be kind of helpful to be able to track those things down. Very cool. Yeah, I really do appreciate that. Very cool. Yep. Yeah, pretty cheap. Thankfully, we're able to put these out fairly cheaply, and it's not too much of a cost to us. So we'll continue to do it, and hopefully just get better and be able to track it further. And it's too bad that once the balloon seems to have burst, we don't seem to get any more tracking at all. So we really cannot even just use the built-in solar panels and the Whisper transmitter to track it. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like that's worked over the last couple of years. So. Yeah, pretty simple build, pretty cheap. So yeah, if anybody's interested, you can do this yourself. Again, Trackquito, TRAQUITO, for balloon resources. All right. Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins, anything else so far for this evening's learning? Let me see if I've missed anything here. Nothing yet so far. I certainly have some things I can bring up. But anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins? Please call now.
November 0, Tango Romeo Papa, Jim in Lakewood, checking in.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control, N0TRP. Jim, I got you checked in. Anyone else at the moment, if you'd like to check in, if you're just tuning in, this is the Denver Radio Club Learning Net. Great place to learn about ham radio and STEM topics. If you'd like to check in just for the count, or if you have any traffic or questions, we're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. Let us know your call sign, your name, and if you have any traffic or questions, please call now.
Alpha Fox 0 Echo, Alex, checking in.
All right, in that time we had Alpha Fox 0 Echo. Alex, thank you so much for checking in. Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins, anything else so far for this evening's Learning Net? Please call now. All right, I guess as I've scrolled past this story, I can read this out. If you've used or heard of Ham Shack Hotline, they are shutting down. So in August 29th, 2025, effective, they're going to be sunsetting the Ham Shack Hotline project. What began in 2018 as a simple idea in the humble closet of K1W1Z, or IZ, quickly grew into something none of us could have imagined, an expansive global communications network built by and for amateur radio operators. It evolved into a robust VoIP system supported by multiple servers around the world with over 7,000 interconnections at its peak. With success came scale, and with scale came increasing demands. As the network grew, so did the workload on their small team. Balancing that effort with responsibilities to family, career, and life outside the shack has been increasingly challenging. So they round things up saying, after much thoughtful discussion and reflection, the board of directors has unanimously voted to sunset the project, giving their community ample time to transition to other services. It was not an easy decision. They know how much people love their network and how much it means. So in the spirit of giving back, the remaining cash reserves of Ham Shack Hotline, after settling operating expenses, will be donated to a charity that supports veterans. So from the bottom of their hearts, they thank each and every person being a part of the Ham Shack Hotline team. So 7-3, Ham Shack Hotline team. So unfortunate farewell there, but time moves on, unfortunately. Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins, anything else so far for this evening's Learning Net? Please call now.
Hey, Dred, when's the next DRC little field day getting together in Arvada?
DRC Saturday events were a little bit late this year, starting those back up here. Pete Sobansky, actually our balloon operator, is also helping out with that. I don't think we have anything announced yet. Hopefully soon, though. I think at our last board meeting we discussed some upcoming topics. I was trying to bring that up. I think he was he had shared that, so let me see if I can find that. But I think Field Day, after Field Day, starting at least I think this month or next month, we'll have something going forward. I'm gonna see if I can find something. But yeah, DRC Saturday events quite popular, and we'd like to continue those on. Nothing concrete just yet. I'll see if I can find it though. Let's see, board meeting notes from May. Pete reported on planning for DRC Saturdays. He suggested a planning meeting on June 14th, asked for suggestions for Parks on the Air activation, scheduling the locations for a Colorado QSO party. Let me see if I can find the June board meeting minutes and see if there's anything further on that. But that's what I have so far. All right, have not been able to find anything on there, but very similar to last year. We'll be doing a build day. We'll be buying some kits, some soldering practicing kits. If you do a Google search on AliExpress, for example, for soldering practice kits, let me drop here for a moment. For $1 or $2 a piece, some clocks or calculators, some music devices, some mini oscilloscopes, things like that. We'll probably be buying some kits like this for pretty cheap. We'll do that again. Parks on the Air. We'll be doing a park on the air, summits on the air potentially, and I think at a Colorado QSO party as well. So we do still have some things planned, but nothing concrete just yet. But be on the lookout on our website for more information on that. And we're starting to send out a lot more emails nowadays, so you'll start to see more email blasts on this as things come up.
Good question.
Yeah, KE0SGM, Jonathan, go ahead.
So I think it's great you're having a soldering course because, well, I grew up in, my degree is from 1970s in electronics, so very familiar with repairing things with a soldering iron. But now, in this day and age, with soldering is the way. I think crimping is the way to go. No major manufacturer does soldering. I think it's great to know how to do it and do it right, but I'm not sure how often the occasion rises to solder two wires together and put some black tape on it, but that's just my opinion. KE0SUM, back to net.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great one as well. I think we had Mark Thomas N0XRX. I think one of our meetings last year gave a brief presentation on Anderson power pole crimping, and I think did a demo in person, and people were able to crimp some of their own cabling and some of their own power leads and things like that. So yeah, no, that is fair enough. Yeah, it's nowadays you're not necessarily breaking open your ham radio and doing soldering itself, but still definitely a good skill to learn, and lots of ways to practice. So yeah, lots of different strokes for different folks, lots of different different methods of practicing and honing your skills. Very cool stuff. All right, very cool stuff. Yep, Anderson power poles, coax crimping, some of the basic stuff you'll probably do to working in your own ham shack. So some basic soldering potentially, but yeah, plenty of cool stuff out there. So anyone else, comments, questions, check-ins? We have another half hour or so. Please call now.
KD0CGF with a couple comments and one question.
Yeah, KD0CGF. Kenny, the net is yours. Go right ahead.
And I do apologize. Give me about 5 seconds. I got to let the cat out. You just got to... Sorry about that. This is KD0CGF. So my question is how's my audio sounding? The reason why I ask, because I'm running an ICOM 746, and when I was listening to the check-in, I noticed my audio is a little rather distorted. Does it sound off, or do I need to adjust the microphone gain?
You're sounding great. Very good audio. Yeah, no issues, no background noise, and yeah, you sound really good.
Kenny, you're only just a little bit soft. Either hold the mic closer. I don't think you need to turn up your gain. Yeah, you sound great.
Okay, let's give that a shot. Thank you. So, a couple of interesting things. First one that kind of tickled me pink the other day. I turned on the radio, and I was operating on 20 meters, and I made an interesting contact out of Ontario, Canada. It was over 1,600 miles away. What was interesting about it is I got a signal report of a 5.5, and I thought, okay, maybe I need to turn up my power just a little. I looked down at my radio, or I turned the knob on the radio, and I thought I turned up the power. Let me drop for a second. And then after about a couple minutes, I looked down and realized I turned up the mic gain. And my radio was only pushing a quarter of the radio's power, so about 20, 25 watts. and I was just in wow. And the gentleman was interesting. He was operating on a beam. I was operating a vertical, and he was pushing 2 kilowatts of power. And I was talking to someone about it, and they're like, well, were you operating QRP? And I'm like, no, I wasn't even trying to operate QRP, but wow, that was one heck of a distance on 20 watts. I was just impressed. Let me drop. So the other news that I have, and this is very interesting, and I'm curious to know everyone else's input. The other day, I was working on the radio tower. We have a 48-foot Roan tower in the backyard with a few antennas on it, and one of those antennas is the G5RV inverted V antenna, and then there's an Alpha Delta inverted V that I also switched out. So the G5RV, I've repaired it once, and it's got this ladder line on it, and the wind took it and broke off the end. Let me drop for a second. So when the wind took off the end, I decided, after talking with my father, who owns it, I decided just to throw a crimp connection, PL259 crimp connection, on the end of it and take off whatever they had, which was just a line soldered to a board to the SO239. And so I cut that off and put a crimp on there. Well, after some time, the antenna then wasn't acting right. So the other day I went up there, I took a foot long of cable, and I actually soldered it. Now the reason why we went the crimp connection first is because, well, the ladder is a 30-year-old wooden ladder that was about ready to fall apart. So it made me real nervous to be up there. And so we got a fiberglass ladder, and I went up, and it was much more stable, much more comfortable, and I was able to actually take a soldering gun with me and actually solder it. Well, so far, it sounds like the antenna has been working phenomenally, but let me drop again. Sorry, I don't want to overwork the repeater. That's why I keep dropping. So when I went up to solder it with an extra foot of coax, and I took the old piece off, an extra 4 inches came out off the, I'm going to say off the ground side, I guess, or the outside of the connector. It's not sure what it would actually be called, but where the wire connected to it, about 4 inches came out, and I looked at it, and the wire was black. Like, well, that's interesting. So I initially thought the wind got it, and it just broke because of just wear and tear. And I gave it to my father, and he goes, that got hot. Well, now we're sitting there trying to figure out how and why it got hot, to the point that wire weakened. But long story short, we repaired it, and yeah, the antenna's been working pretty good. This is KD0 CGF, back to net.
Were you running barefoot the whole time?
Forgive me, I'm not familiar with that term.
Oh, barefoot means were you just running 100 watts, not power?
I'm not sure how he was running it. I can't say for certain. I know he's showed me a couple things, like on testing it and tuning the radio and whatnot, but most of the time I'm at work when he's on it, so I'm not exactly sure what he does there.
Yeah, it's just interesting if you ever find out. I'm not sure why it would get hot up there. KE0SUM, back to that.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, thank you so much for the follow-up on that. And yeah, really interesting stuff there, CGF Kenny. Yeah, I'd imagine if you were running kilowatts of power, you may get heat in the line itself, but whatever you were saying, 100 watts or something like that, it's pretty standard, and it's a fairly standard, well-used antenna and ladder line and combination. So it's that is surprising to hear, but I'm glad to hear that we were able to get it fixed, and yeah, sounds great. So, so yeah, hopefully, hopefully it doesn't happen again. So, yeah, anything else on that, Kenny, or anyone else? Go right ahead.
Yeah, I told him the next time that happens, I'm going to take probably 6 more inches off that ladder line to fix it. And the other determination is if I have to do it again, I'm going to probably have to climb halfway up the tower with the solder gun and actually pretty much hang off the tower and solder it that way instead of using a ladder. But yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see how long it lasts. I'm hoping I don't have to mess with it for a long time. This is KD0 CGF, back to net.
Excellent, sounds good. Yeah, tower work even at 48 feet. I mean, that's nothing really to mess around with. So, yeah, you definitely need to make sure health and safety is number one regard. You definitely don't want to hurt yourself fixing antenna, unfortunately. So, yeah, very cool stuff. Yeah. Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins? It's 8:08 p.m. Mountain Time. We have another 20 or so minutes. Please call now.
Okay, Kenny, what type of soldering iron do you take up the tower with you? Jonathan, KE0SUM.
The soldering iron I used was his, and he's had that soldering iron since, I want to say about 1950, 1960. Give me a minute. I'll ask him what brand it is, and I'll get back with you. This is KD0 CGF, back to net.
Very cool stuff there. Yeah, to fill a little bit of time. Yeah, you mentioned a soldering gun. I've not used one of those before. I know I had an old Radio Shack one. Not a gun, but just a really huge tip soldering iron. But yeah, I've never heard of this. But it sounds like in times of need, we're on a tower or something. Precision maybe isn't needed as much or something like that. But yeah, Kenny or anyone else, go right ahead.
Now, Jerome, you have to consider how tall the tower is, and it's actually using a cord. Yeah, you're talking a lot of drag and a fair amount of weight to get it up there.
This is KD0 CGF. So, interestingly enough, you got the welder picture up. The soldering iron that I used, or that he has, was a welder, and he's had it since 1967. This is KD0 CGF, back to net.
how'd you drag the cord up there? Was it heavy?
No. So, what it is the way the tower's set up is the coax just comes off, and instead of going like down to the ground to like a box and all the lines terminating there, it comes down at an angle about halfway down the tower. So to describe the tower a little better, the 8-foot portion of the tower is a mast, and the tower itself from like top of the Rhone is 40 feet, and it goes all the way down, and then there's an additional 3 feet that's concreted into the ground. So at about the 20-foot mark is where all the coax kind of comes off and then goes towards the house. And my father chose to do that a long time ago, and that's just what he worked with. And so the ladder line goes down the same angle. I think the determination was just to keep it away from the tower as much as possible. I'm not exactly sure why, but I believe that's what I was told, and that was a couple years ago when that was determined.
W0TX repeater.
So what's your favorite wrap for the external connectors?
Favorite wrap? Personally, I admit I do like the crimps, but for the external connectors, for some reason I'm drawing a blank on that. I do apologize. Because the way I have that one set up right now is I soldered it with heat shrink going down to an SO239, and then at the SO239 I used the coax sealant or the cement. You get them at HRO. They're usually sitting on the counter right up front. So I used that and then connected it to the coax going to the house with a, what's it called, a female to female SO239. And I do have 9, I believe, 8 or 9 1-foot in diameter loops on that antenna.
So how long is this coax run from antenna to house?
Now that's a good question. So when we replaced the Alpha Delta, which was last weekend, we ran a total of 80 feet, and I think we had about 10 feet left over, which he decided to take that 10 feet and create smaller connectors and just renew the connectors on the back of the radios that he was using. And that was from the top of the tower at 40 feet. So yeah, about 70 feet for that one, and then for the RG. See, so many numbers, my brain's just starting to liquefy. I'd probably say about 50 feet for the other inverted V.
Thanks, that's a good description. I appreciate it. Sounds like you worked on it a while, so you actually don't have all that many connectors in line with it before the radio.
No, there's not a whole lot of connectors. So on that line, for the G5RV, there's a total of 1, 2, 3 SO239s, and the female to female that is up there. So I would personally say a total of 4 connectors. The beam only has two. The 2 meter 440 has one. And let's see here, the Alpha Delta, I believe, has two, but I can't be certain on that one.
Excellent. Well, good stuff. Really do appreciate that. Doesn't have photos on his QRZ page, but you can see, or not of the antennas, but of his equipment, KD0CGF over on QRZ. You can see at least his ham shack. So really cool stuff there. Really do appreciate that. So yeah, anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins, anything else on that, or anything else? Go right ahead.
Real quick, Daron, if you go look up K0KKU on QRZ, you'll actually see his setup. This is KD0CGF back to net.
All right, I do see that here. K0KKU over on QRZ has quite a few photos up on there. So, yeah, really good stuff there of the antennas. So, Jonathan or anyone else who's interested in the setup that they were just discussing, excuse me, K0KKU over on QRZ.
Comment. Hey, Kenny, I think you said you were using a vertical, which I mostly use. So, what's your favorite one, if you don't mind? KE0SUM.
KD0CGF. So the vertical I'm using is the 5BTV high gain hustler antenna, which is on K0KKU's page. That's the vertical I use all the time. The other antenna that I like to use, especially for HF, is the super antenna, and I use that one primarily for POTA. The antenna I'm currently on, now let me drop for a second. The antenna I'm currently on is it a Cushcraft? There's a 2 meter. I don't think he has it on there. Oh no, I think it was the Ringo Ranger, which is Cushcraft. No, he's using the Ringo Ranger. See, I forget. I haven't thought about that antenna in a long time. My apologies.
So with the super antenna, I used one with a friend of mine who had one, probably 5 years ago. And do you find that cardboard gauge to be fairly accurate? I use a tuner. Oh, I mean to say I use an analyzer.
Personally, I would say no. And the reason for that is because I've got the little plastic gauge as well. And it works just to kind of get me in the range, but I use a tuner with the super antenna because I still worry that it's just a little bit outside of the range because of the wear and tear of putting it up, taking it down, putting it up, taking it down. So I use it just to get within range to where the tuner can take over, and I'd be all right with it. KD0CGF.
Excellent. I really do appreciate that. The super antenna, yeah, we've had other people. Brian, I think, call suffix AWC has shown that off, and pretty nice antenna. That's for sure. So, yeah, really cool stuff there. I really do appreciate you chiming in there. So, yeah, anything else on that, Jonathan or Kenny or anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins? We have another 10 or so minutes. Anyone else? Go right ahead.
0TX repeater.
Well, I think the problem super antenna and quite a few other brands face is that the Chinese brands are hundreds of dollars less expensive, and from the YouTube reviews, they seem to work pretty well. So I don't know what the future of vertical antennas is.
Yeah, that is a great point. Antennas are getting cheaper and cheaper that are manufactured overseas, and price points are making it a lot easier to look into those options compared to some of our standard options that we would normally choose. So, yeah, very good stuff. Yeah, anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins, anything else? Go right ahead.
The other thing Kenny mentioned was Cushcraft antennas, which was owned by MFJ, which of course is defunct at this point, and so is Cushcraft, Ameritron, seems like a couple others. And the price of aluminum is not cheap, so I suspect masts and, any kind of tower and antennas may be going up due to aluminum tariffs. I'm speculating. No, I think it's going to happen. KE0, that's sure.
Gotcha. Yep. Only time will tell, and see how those tariffs do play out, and we'll see if aluminum is affected by it, and see how that cost is passed down to the end user, and see if there's even will be continue to have options out there. Yeah, as you mentioned, those companies went out of business quite a year or two ago, and it's only gotten more and more difficult for manufacturing of this type of equipment. So, yeah, we will see. Very good. Yeah, anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins, another few minutes? Please call now. Let's see, I guess I can bring up a story or two, and we'll probably start to wrap the net up here. Anyone else at the moment? Comments, questions, check-ins, anything else? Go right ahead. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. I guess as a follow-up from a couple of weeks ago, someone was asking about kind of digital modes and what's available out there. And we mentioned kind of the same, very popular ones, D-Star, DMR, Fusion, or System Fusion, M17. A product that I was trying to think of was called Peanut. It's a kind of a funny name, but it is an app on your phone. I think Android, iPhone, Windows, it looks like. So you can use that app. So if you do not have a D-Star, a DMR radio, or a hotspot, you can just use your phone, really, to tap into some of those different rooms and channels. So Peanut, P-E-A-N-U-T, just like the food. So you can check them out on their website, pa7lim.nl. As well, our roundtable, our monthly newsletter, was launched on the 5th at noon. So you can check out our website, w0tx.org, for more information on that. A link to the PDF on there. Some updates on the balloon launch. Updates on hybrid meeting. I think our next meeting next week will be hybrid. It'll be in person at the Lakewood Police Department, as well as taking place online via our Google Meet. I don't think we have a topic announced yet, but we'll see how that works out. And I guess to Jonathan's question earlier of the DRC Saturdays, just a quick update. They're planning to have 4 DRC Saturdays this summer. So more on that coming up. Again, RMHAM Summer Swap Fest, August 24th at the Adams County Fairground. And HamCon Colorado in Grand Junction, October 24th, 5th, and 26th. So HamCon Colorado for more information on that. So let's see. Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins? Please call now. All right, this is K1DVC Net Control, news out of arrl.org/news. As you've probably seen in the news, some fairly severe flooding and some deaths in Texas. Article from today, amateur radio volunteers serving during Texas floods. Volunteer amateur radio operators serving in the ARL and ARES are embedded with local served agencies in the areas of Central Texas affected by devastating floods. Needs and assignments have been changing, but ARES volunteers are stepping up to the dynamic needs of their communities. Quoting here, this is a very fluid situation. It changes by the hour, said ARRL South Texas Section District 7 Emergency Coordinator Terry Jones, call sign K5LGV. The trained ham radio operators were activated starting on Friday, July 4th. Amateurs are providing communication capabilities to agencies whose primary systems were damaged in the flooding events and where they suffer poor connectivity due to the terrain. Let me just drop for a moment here. Excellent. Thanks there, Keith. Got you checked in here. Continuing on, just the last couple of paragraphs. We just had a check-in there on line N5QF. Keith, really do appreciate that. Last couple of paragraphs on this article here. ARES members helped the American Red Cross with setup of a reunification shelter in response to the floods. 10 hams were assigned to search and rescue teams. Dozens of health and welfare messages were passed by ham radio operators who provided a critical link when phone lines were overwhelmed. Another quote here, a lot of this is tied to circuit overload preventing folks from making direct contact with family members in the area, said Kevin McCoy, KF5FUZ. Last paragraph, during the flooding event and subsequent search and recovery missions, ARES members have been deployed to serve many different counties, including hard-hit Kerr and Kendall counties. Mutual aid has been offered between several surrounding ARRL sections. So more information, arrl.org/news. All right, we're just about to tick over to 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time. Probably start to wrap the net up here. Anyone else? Last minute comments, questions, check-ins, anything else? Last minute for our net. Otherwise, we'll start to wrap things up. Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins, anything else? Please call now.
0TX repeater.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Last call. This will be the last call. Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins? Please call now. Okay, nothing heard. Another great net, as always. Really do appreciate that. Let me see. Let me drop once more. I was going to bring up one stat here real quick. I was just looking up. We basically just started streaming on YouTube about 5 years ago. June, July time in 2020, we started streaming up on YouTube. So it's been several years, and the time has flown. So again, I can't thank enough everyone who supports us through our social media, through our website, through checking into our nets, through volunteering. We can't thank you all enough, quite frankly. So again, we can't thank enough our club for allowing us to use their repeaters. Again, everyone who checked in and helps out here. Again, next week will be a hybrid meeting. So this Sunday night net will have probably more information on that. But again, it's in person at the Lakewood Police Department. Let me see. It is on the Allison Parkway Street location, as well as w0tx.org/meet. So we'll look forward to how that works out next week. With that, this is K1 DBC Net Control 7-3. I will be clear. Have a good week, and we'll talk to you soon. Everyone, have a good evening. Talk to you soon.